Have you ever dreamed of a world where all the things you want come true? A place where your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations are not just possibilities, but palpable realities? Well, you are in the right place. Today we are going to talk about a secret that can help you do precisely that. It is not magic, not a trick, but a philosophy of life, Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on ourselves, our actions, our reactions, and our mindset. It shows us how, by doing so, we can transform our reality and make amazing things happen. In this video, we are going to explore 15 Stoic keys that will help you do just that. Each key will be explained in detail, accompanied by a quote from a Stoic philosopher that illustrates its meaning. So sit back, relax, and prepare yourself for a journey to the heart of Stoicism. Before continuing, I would appreciate it if you would please like this video so that it can reach many more people. If you do not want to miss any of my videos, subscribe and activate the bell. Key 1. Ataraxia, inner peace. The first Stoic key to focusing on yourself is ataraxia, a Greek term that translates as inner peace or imperturbability. The Stoics believed that true happiness is not found in external pleasures or in the approval of others, but in the tranquility of the mind. Ataraxia is achieved by accepting the world as it is without wishing for things to be different. It is understood that we cannot control external events, only our reaction to them. By freeing ourselves from expectations and accepting reality, we can find inner peace. As Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "You are not disturbed by things, but by the opinions you have about them." This phrase reminds us that our inner peace depends on how we interpret and respond to life's events, not the events themselves. As a result, ataraxia is a powerful tool for focusing on yourself. By cultivating inner peace, you can free yourself from unnecessary worries and concentrate on what really matters, your personal growth and development. Key 2. Amor Fati, loving destiny. Amor Fati, which translates as loving destiny, is the second Stoic key. This concept invites us to accept and love everything that life brings us, both the good and the bad. Instead of resisting challenges or lamenting adversities, the Stoics teach us to embrace them as part of our path. Amor Fati is the practice of seeing every event in our lives, even the most difficult ones, as something necessary and beneficial to our growth. It is understood that every experience, no matter how painful or challenging, has a purpose and can teach us valuable lessons. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said, "Accept what comes to you woven into the pattern of your destiny, because what could fit better with your needs?" This quote reminds us that each event in our lives is exactly what we need at that moment to learn, grow, and evolve. By practicing Amor Fati, you can see each challenge as an opportunity to grow and every adversity as a valuable lesson. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of getting trapped in resistance or resentment. Key 3. Prosochē, mindfulness. Prosochē, which translates as mindfulness, is the third Stoic key. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the present and paying attention to our current actions and thoughts. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in each moment, paying attention to our actions, thoughts, and emotions without judgment. It is the awareness that we only have control over our actions and reactions in the present, and that our attention should be focused on doing the right thing here and now. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Don't ask for things to happen as you want, but want things as they happen, and you will be happy." This quote reminds us that we must accept reality as it is and focus our attention on our own actions and reactions. By practicing Prosochē, you can learn to live in the present and focus on what you can control, your own actions and reactions. This mindfulness will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of worrying about what is outside your control. Key 4. Eudaimonia, the good life. The fourth Stoic key is eudaimonia, which translates as the good life or happiness. The Stoics believed that true happiness is not found in ephemeral pleasures or in the accumulation of wealth, but in living a life of virtue and purpose. Eudaimonia is achieved by living in accordance with nature, which for the Stoics means living virtuously. It is understood that our true happiness and satisfaction come from our own actions and character, not from external circumstances. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not the man who has little, but the one who desires more who is poor." This phrase reminds us that our true wealth and happiness depend on our character and actions, not on our material possessions. Eudaimonia, therefore, is a powerful key to focusing on yourself. By pursuing the good life through virtue and purpose, you can find lasting and meaningful satisfaction. Key 5. Memento Mori. Remember that you are going to die. The fifth Stoic key is Memento Mori, which translates as remembering that you are going to die. This concept reminds us of the inevitability of death and invites us to live each day as if it were our last. Memento Mori is a practice of reflection on our mortality, not to provoke fear, but to inspire action. Remembering that our lives are finite allows us to appreciate each moment and live with greater purpose and intensity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Think of yourself as if you were already dead. You have lived your life. Now take what is left and live it correctly." This quote reminds us that every day is a gift, and we should live it in the best way possible. By practicing Memento Mori, you can learn to appreciate every moment and live each day with purpose and gratitude. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of worrying about what you cannot control. Key 6. Encrateia, self-control. Encrateia, which translates to self-control, is the sixth Stoic key. The Stoics understood that self-control is essential to living a virtuous and satisfying life. It is the practice of exercising control over our actions, thoughts, and emotions. It is the ability to resist temptations and maintain composure in difficult situations. The Stoics believed that self-control allows us to live according to our values and principles rather than being carried away by our passions or external circumstances. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Liberty is not assured by the fullness of the things one possesses, or by the abundance of pleasures, but by the absence of desire." This quote reminds us that true self-control is not about repressing our desires, but about freeing ourselves from them. By practicing Encrateia, you can learn to exercise control over your actions and emotions, which will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 7. Oikeiosis, affiliation. Oikeiosis, or the feeling of belonging, is the seventh Stoic key. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger community and that we have a responsibility to contribute to the well-being of others. Oikeiosis is the practice of recognizing our connection with others and acting accordingly. It is understood that our actions have an impact on others and that we must consider this impact in our decisions. Heracles, a Stoic philosopher, proposed a model of concentric circles of affiliation in which oneself is at the center, followed by family, friends, community, humanity, and finally, the cosmos. This model reminds us that we are part of something larger and that our actions can have an impact beyond ourselves. By practicing Oikeiosis, you can learn to consider the impact of your actions on others and contribute to the well-being of your community. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development while contributing to the well-being of others. Key 8. Love for humanity. Love for humanity is the 8th Stoic key. The Stoics believed in the importance of kindness and generosity toward others. It is the practice of acting with kindness and generosity toward others without expecting anything in return. It is to understand that we are all part of the same human community, and we have a responsibility to care for and support others. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote reminds us that we always have the opportunity to act with kindness and generosity, no matter the circumstances. By practicing, you can learn to act with kindness and generosity, which will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development while contributing to the well-being of others. Key 9. Moderation. The 9th Stoic key is moderation. The Stoics believed in the importance of living a balanced life and avoiding excess. It is the practice of seeking balance in all areas of our lives. It is important to understand that excesses, whether in pleasures or difficulties, can lead us to unhappiness and suffering. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few needs." This quote reminds us that true wealth and happiness come from living a balanced and moderate life, not from the accumulation of possessions or pleasures. By practicing this, you can learn to seek balance in your life and avoid excess. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 10. Differentiate what we can control from what we cannot control. The Stoics believed that the key to living a peaceful and fulfilling life is to focus on the things that are within our control and accept things that are outside our control. It is the practice of distinguishing between actions and thoughts that are under our control and external events that are outside our control. It is understood that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we respond to it. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things." This quote reminds us that our peace and happiness depend on how we interpret and respond to the events of life, not the events themselves. By practicing, you can learn to focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot control. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 11. Premeditatio Malorum. The Stoics regularly practiced the exercise of visualizing the possible challenges or difficulties that they might face in the future. It is the practice of anticipating and mentally preparing for possible challenges or adversities. It is not about being pessimistic, but being prepared and having a plan of action in case things do not turn out as we expect. A famous Stoic philosopher said, "The wise man always considers that adversity is possible and therefore is prepared to face it." This quote reminds us that true wisdom is not found in expecting the best, but in being prepared for the worst. By practicing, you can learn to anticipate and prepare for challenges, which will allow you to remain calm and composed, even in more difficult situations. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 12. Universal connection. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger whole and that we are intrinsically connected to the universe. It is the practice of recognizing our connection to the universe and acting accordingly. It is understood that our actions have an impact on the universe and that we must consider this impact in our decisions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This quote reminds us that we are part of a larger whole and that our actions can have an impact beyond ourselves. By practicing it, you can learn to consider the impact of your actions on the universe and contribute to the well-being of the universal community. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 13. Arete, excellence of character. The 13th Stoic key is arete, which translates as excellence of character. The Stoics believed that the goal of life was to develop a virtuous character and live in accordance with nature. Arete is the practice of cultivating virtues and living in accordance with our values. It is understood that our true happiness and satisfaction come from our own actions and character, not from external circumstances. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want, but want events as they happen, and you will have a peaceful life." This quote reminds us that our peace and happiness depend on how we interpret and respond to life events, not the events themselves. By practicing arete, you can learn to cultivate a virtuous character and live in accordance with your values. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 14. Duty. The Stoics believed that each of us has a duty or moral responsibility towards ourselves and others. It is the practice of fulfilling our duties and responsibilities not out of obligation or fear of consequences, but because it is the right thing to do. It is to understand that our actions have an impact on ourselves and others, and we must act in accordance with our values and principles. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Do what is in harmony with the nature of a good man." This quote reminds us that our duty is to act in accordance with our nature and live a virtuous life. By practicing, you can learn to fulfill your duties and responsibilities in a way that is in harmony with your values and principles. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 15. Logos, universal reason. The Logos, which translates as universal reason. The Stoics believed that the universe is governed by an inherent reason, or logic, and that we must strive to live in harmony with this reason. The Logos is the practice of seeking truth and wisdom through reason and logic. It is understood that our actions and decisions must be guided by reason, not by emotions or desires. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Everything that happens happens the way universal nature wants it to happen." This quote reminds us that we must strive to understand and live in harmony with universal reason. By practicing Logos, you can learn to make rational decisions and live in harmony with universal reason. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. We have reached the end of our journey through the 15 Stoic keys to focus on ourselves. Each of these keys offers us a unique perspective on how to live a full and meaningful life. These keys, from Ataraxia to Logos, remind us that we have the power to control our actions and reactions, to live according to our values and principles, and to contribute to the well-being of others. Remember, Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophy, but a practical guide for everyday life. By applying these keys to your life, you can find inner peace, live with purpose, and unleash your potential. So, are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth? As the great Stoic Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoicism. We hope that these keys inspire you to focus on yourself and live a full and meaningful life. Until next time,